8 primary schools in Shropshire will be banning smartphones from the next school year, next September. Students at schools run by the Empower Trust, including St George's Junior School in Shrewsbury, won't be able to take the devices into the building, but will be allowed to take a basic mobile to school that will be locked away during the day. It's hoped the change will encourage students to focus on their classes and protect them from inappropriate online content. Well, Year 4 student Marcus and Year 5 student Pippa from St George's told our reporter Ellen Knight what they think about smartphones.
They are kind of exciting, but I know that when I'm not old enough to have one at this age at the moment.
They do sound exciting, but they sound quite addictable, and like you just want to constantly keep looking at it.
What do you think makes them so addictive?
Like the notifications, when they keep like popping up, you just want to look at them and like answer them and keep doing that.
Do you think that would be distracting when you're in school, having a smartphone?
Yes, I do. But also with our school, with most of our teachers in Year 6 do ask to have them off the students in school.
And how did you feel when you found out that smartphones weren't going to be allowed at school at all from next year? What did you think?
I was quite happy about it, because then people wouldn't be like bragging on about that they've got a smartphone.
Quite happy that people won't be constantly looking at it all the time, and they would actually be getting on with the stuff they need to do.
Year 4 student Marcus and Year 5 student Pippa from St George's talking to our reporter Ellen Knight. Well, Tess Burgess is from Smartphone Free Childhood in Shropshire and is with me now. She worked with Empower on their decision. Good morning, Tess.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. How did this change come about?
So essentially, I am a regional representative for Shropshire. I've been working since 2024, and we have been doing talks around the county, and my children used to go to one of the schools within the trust, and I approached the head teacher and asked whether it was something that they'd be interested changing their policy in respect of smartphones. We all know the ills that smartphones present, and the key age and the average age that a child gets a smartphone in the UK is age 9. So being able to impact and influence policy at primary school level is a really critical time. So we started to talk to head teacher, Mrs. Lee, and we began from there really. And a consultation process began, and there has been overwhelmingly positive feedback from the cohort of parents at the school that my children went to, St George's, and across the trust as a whole.
Has anything in particular led to this happening now, this year?
I think that there has been a rise in awareness that smartphones are harmful to children. There's been so much in the media that we have had programmes such as Adolescence, which have really come into the public consciousness and impacted how we all understand how smartphones impact young people. They are something that, as adults, they are key tools, but they are harmful to our young people. They cause so many ills, mental health impact, the addictive nature of smartphones. The average a child spends 35 hours a week on a smartphone. And really what we want to do...
The average child?
Average child spends 35 hours a week, which is a full-time job.
5 hours a day?
5 hours a day on a smartphone where they could be interacting with their friends, and children are missing out on that face-to-face interaction, which both you and I would have done after school, played out with our friends, and that's just not happening. And children, ironically, are at far more risk online, sat in their bedroom on their phone, than they are outside playing with their friends. Children are 60 times more likely to be groomed online on a phone than they would be if they were to came into interaction with a predator outside. So we think children are safe in their bedrooms, but actually they're not. We don't really know what they're doing on their smartphones. We think we do, but actually even with parental controls on phones, 60% of children are able to get around their child's parental controls. So the best thing that we can do is look at alternatives, looking at delaying smartphones until children are at least 14, no social media until 16, and looking at alternative simple phones where children can just text and phone their friends to get in touch rather than have access online.
I think some parents, and I know I put myself in this category, that maybe haven't given their children smartphones, indeed no phone at all, but it feels like it's coming to that period where they need some way of staying in touch with their circle of friends.
Yeah.
So there's a balance to be made, isn't there?
Absolutely. I have 4 children. This is not about judging anybody's parenting decisions. The older 2-step children have smartphones. If your child has a smartphone, you need to do things like talk to them, monitor them, look what they're doing. But if you are at that key point making a decision about getting a phone for your child, think about the option of a simple phone. Think about giving your child something that doesn't give them access to the internet. Lots of parents say to me that they're worried about tracking and they want to be able to track their child. As a group, we say tracking isn't the most important thing, but there are alternative devices that you can track your child on. The safest thing to do, because we all want to keep in touch with our children, is to give them a simple device. You can still call them, you can still text them, but they aren't on a supercomputer, which is effectively what a smartphone is.
How do you see the future in education if we do go to not allowing smartphones in any school?
Well,
or primary school in particular?
Statistics show that children attain GCSE grades 1 to 2 grades higher without smartphones. Smartphones are highly distracting. Children on average have 237 notifications a day on a smartphone. So if you're not taking that device into school, not only are you doing better in terms of educational outcomes, you're also having the opportunity to interact with peers at school without looking at screens all day. So I think the future could be very bright for our children if we progress, move forward, and lots of schools take up smartphone-free policies.
And I suppose lots will be looking on for these 8 schools next year as to what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, Tess, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Adam.
For talking to us. That's Tess Burgess from Smartphone Free Childhood in Shropshire about this decision to ban smartphones from 8 Shropshire primary schools starting from next September.